Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all my PK Fire or Phantom Knights Burning Abyss Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for post the December 2020 ban list. With the release of the latest ban list, we had the new power lifted from the Burning Abyss deck, and I decided to combine the two together for a PK Fire deck. For those of you that don't know, this is Phantom Knights mixed with Burning Abyss for a true powerhouse of rank 3 Xyz summons and all the different plays that you can do with Phantom Knights combined with Burning Abyss, making for a quite powerful deck. I took my buddy Jim's support from his Burning Abyss deck and used my Phantom Knight deck together for this deck. I normally like to do the Phantom Knights pure builds with each list, but with the new support that came off the ban list and how I always like to do a Phantom Knight update, I definitely felt the best way to do so would be to do the PK Fire deck, which everyone is definitely excited to see for all the new, available support we have for Burning Abyss. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the Phantom Knight monsters, I'm running 3 Phantom Knights of Torn Scales. Definitely one of the most important cards in the Phantom Knight engine. With this card, you can discard 1 card to send 1 Phantom Knights card from your deck to the graveyard, except for Phantom Knights of Torn Scales. And if another Phantom Knights card is in your graveyard is banished while this card's in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field, and you can only use each effect of the Phantom Knights of Torn Scales once per turn. So along with just having amazing setup for your graveyard in general, and then being able to special summon this card back onto the field to use for resources, makes it a definite 3 of in the deck. And the fact that most of the time when you special summon it back onto the field, you're going to use it for an Xyz summon, so you won't even be wasting this card for its banish, because once it's an Xyz material, it goes to the graveyard as material and not a monster, so you won't have to risk it being banished. And that graveyard setup with its first effect is just that much more better, being able to grab any of the other Phantom Knight cards you may need for your plays, with some of them being the Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak, which I'm also running 3 of. With this card, you don't normally use it for the attack boost effect. You mostly use it for its graveyard power of being able to banish this card to add 1 the Phantom Knights card from your deck to your hand, except for the Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak. You can only use each effect of Ancient Cloak once per turn, but once you can set this card up with Torn Scales, you're able to search out some more of your other Phantom Knight monsters. So another 3 of for sure, just because you're going to blow through this resource really quickly. So having the option for a max number of this card will definitely come in handy, so you always have search options for your go-to search, being the Phantom Knights of Silent Boots. With this card, if you set up your Ancient Cloak in the graveyard thanks to Torn Scales, with this having the requirements of just needing a Phantom Knight monster on the field to special summon it, will give you your rank 3 play right then and there. So another maximum number, because also in the graveyard, if you go for the banish play instead, you're able to search out a Phantom Knight spell or trap, which we do run a good number of in this deck for all of our different plays we run for the rank up and also stopping our opponent's monsters. And then for the lower numbers of Phantom Knight monsters, I run 1 Phantom Knights of Stained Greaves. With this card, more setup for the special summon. If a Phantom Knight monster is special summoned to your field, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand, and also increase the level of this card by 1. So great for the level boost for some of our rank 4s we're running in the deck, and also just being able to have more consistency with graveyard setup. I run 1 Phantom Knights of Ragged Gloves. More sending power by banishing this card, being able to send another card by banishing this card. Sets up more important ones, I'd say, for search power if we need Ancient Cloak or Silent Boots for their search power. Setting up the Ragged Gloves in the graveyard can just go off of the banish effect that much more quickly with Torn Scales, and setting up more and more in our graveyard to use. For the Burning Abyss cards now that we run in the deck, it almost felt like a pure Phantom Knight deck up till here. We're running 3 Graph, Malbranch of the Burning Abyss. This is the newest card off of the ban list at 3 full power. With this card having the option, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Burning Abyss monster from your deck, except for Graph of the Burning Abyss. And once again, remember, we're mostly going off of the engine of power plays, for the fact that when these cards have another type of monster on the field, they will destroy themselves. So you want to use the Phantom Knight engine to set up Dante in the deck onto the field, so then they won't be limited by their destruction capabilities. It's that much easier to use your Phantom Knight cards to summon out Dante and then benefit from the additional mill you do from Dante. So it's just 2 different engines all working together, but very well just for the consistency of rank 3 plays, graveyard setup, you name it. That's why we're also running 3 of the newly lifted off the ban list, Seer, Malbranch of the Burning Abyss. This one having, when it's sent to the graveyard, having the graveyard recycle power, while Graph has the deck special summoning power, being able to special summon other monsters from the graveyard. So more and more for that Burning Abyss setup using this card. So especially useful for sure for all of those different plays we may wish to go for. For some of the lower numbers, we're not running the full Burning Abyss list in this deck, but we are running 2 Farfa for its banish capabilities and 1 Skarm, more search power with our other Fiend-type monsters we're running in the deck, whether it be Seer, Graph, Farfa, you name it, or even our next go-to special summon monster. 1 Skarm definitely does come in handy. Like I said, we're not going pure Burning Abyss with this deck, so I decided on just these lower numbers, with Seer and Graph being more of a necessity for these special summons, while these cards more come in handy for their banish capabilities and also their search power at the end phase. Like I said, useful, but we can set them up much more easier with Seer and Graph. And we can also rely on the Phantom Knights engine for more of the powerhouse plays, including searching out, cards like Fogblade, or just setting up other Xyz summons like Breaksword to go into. And for more search power with cards like Skarm, running the 3 Tour Guide from the Underworld. I normally haven't run Tour Guide in Phantom Knights for quite a while, but it works very, very well with the Burning Abyss engine, just being more search targets to go into our rank 3s, and also negating the monster effects, avoids the destruction of the Burning Abyss cards, but still benefiting from the detach off of the different Xyz we may make with this card. So it's a definite 3-0. It was off the list since the last ban list, so a great addition to this deck for sure for search and power plays. For some of our other, level 3 monsters, I run 1 Danger Jackalope and 1 Danger Tsuchinoko. I know I ran Danger Nessie in the Burning Abyss one, but we had more of a focus on link summoning in that deck compared to the amount of different Xyz summons we can do in this deck. So I wanted to focus purely on all the different level 3 monsters for this lineup. So that's why I decided just to keep Tsuchinoko and Jackalope. Still great additions for just setting up the graveyard with the discard draw power and special summoning themselves onto the field, but I feel that's all you need for that setup in the deck. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. Now, the spells are an interesting case with this deck because with the numbers I adjusted around, I am just running one-ofs for all of the spells in the deck. I'm running 1 of the Phantom Knights Rank Up Magic Force, with this card having the banish power. For this card, during the main phase, banish 1 or more dark monsters from your graveyard, then target 1 dark XYZ monster you control, and special summon from your extra deck 1 the Phantom Knights Raid Raptor or XYZ Dragon monster whose rank is higher than the monsters used to banish. So with that, you have plenty of different dark monsters to banish. So once you set up this engine and search out your rank up spell, you can go for some pretty high level XYZ monsters in this deck, potentially running the newest monster we received in Phantom Rage, or even any of the other higher rank Raid Raptors we have to go into for those plays to use. Just remember, it has to be a Phantom Knights card, Raid Raptor, or XYZ Dragon. So potentially even being able to run Satellite Falcon in this deck as a high rank XYZ to go into with this card is definitely scary for sure. I also run 1 Reinforcement to the Army for the Warrior Search on the Phantom Knight side, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster for back row destruction to make sure your plays go through, 1 Burial from a different dimension. You do banish your Phantom Knights quite quickly with this deck, so just being able to return those remove from play monsters back to the graveyard to reuse definitely comes in handy with this quick play spell. 1 Monster Reborn, obviously just easy special summons, 1 Foolish Burial, more graveyard setup, and the 1 Call by the Grave for disrupting our opponent's monsters in their own graveyard also. And that is it for the spells. We'll now move on to the traps. I run 3 Phantom Knights Fogblade, our go-to search, but also with the fact that the Phantom Knights traps, majority of them having the power to special summon Phantom Knight monsters from our graveyard back onto the field, just make it that much more of an added bonus once they are destroyed on the field for us to use. You activate this card by targeting 1 effect monster in the field, negate that face-up monster's effects, and that face-up monster cannot attack. Also, monsters cannot target that face-up Xyz monster for attacks, and when that monster leaves the field, destroy this card, and then being able to banish it to target a Phantom Knights monster in your graveyard and special summoning it gives us more resources on the field to use. Even being able to summon cards like Breaksword back on the field gives us resources for rank up plays as well. And for some of the one-ofs, and also for the trap lineup, I run 1 Phantom Knights Wing and 1 Phantom Knights Shade Brigadine, with this one just being an easy activation if we have no other traps in the graveyard to use with this card, and Wings being a power boost card while still sharing the banish special summon. Brigadine doesn't do that, but early game I like to search this card out, and also being a The Phantom Knights monster means you can search it off of Ancient Cloak, which I said is restricted to the Phantom Knight cards, so you can still search it while all the other spell and traps have Phantom Knights in their name, not The Phantom Knights. And then to finish off the rest of the traps in the deck, I do run the 3 Infinite Impermanence. Once again, if you have this card to use in the deck, I recommend it. But if you do not, the other cards you can use to substitute this in can be called by the, not called by the grave, Call of the Haunted, or you can even go for an additional level 3 monster in the deck in the form of Kagemusha Knight, giving you another easy special summon of level 3 monsters on the field to use with your other level 3s for the rank 3 Xyz we run in the deck. But if you have this card, I definitely recommend it. Ash Blossom's another possibility, more available card to get if you don't have Infinite Impermanence. And that is it for the main deck. When I move on to the X deck, I run 2 Phantom Knights of Breaksword. Our go-to Xyz summon, a good amount of the time, just needing 2 level 3 monsters. With this card having destruction capabilities and also being able to special summon back Phantom Knights onto the field, raising their level as well. Aside from when we go into Dante, this is the definite one I like to go into for all the bigger XYZ plays we make in the deck for sure, and relying on this card for all of those summons. I also run 1 Raiders Knight. This is our go-to rank up when we don't have the spell card. I can special summon this card that much easier after I special summon back the level 3 Phantom Knight monsters onto the field from Breaksword and raising their levels up by 1. And for the bigger XYZ summons with the rank up spell, I run 1 Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon and 1 Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon. Depending on the play I need to go for, I need to stop more of my opponent's plays, I go for Dark Requiem. Or if I need just a power attack, I go into Arc Rebellion with this card, able to hit some pretty high numbers in attack. I also run the 1 Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon and the 1 Time Thief Redoer when I can go into these cards. It's a big help for sure when, like I said, this card's destroyed, special summoning Phantom Knights back onto the field, raising their levels, and you also have level raising options with our other Phantom Knight monsters we run in the main deck. So these are both good options to rely on, and the fact that Shade Brigandine is a level 4 can benefit from the Time Thief Redoer special summon. For more on the Burning Abyss side, I do run the 1 Dante Traveler of the Burning Abyss. This one is really all you need for your setup, being able to use the mill power and then, overlay into Beatrice for more of the discard power. Once we have Beatrice on the field, we're not really limited too much to the Phantom Knight plays. We can rely more on those plays than the Burning Abyss plays because we set up a good amount of Phantom Knight cards and potentially, cards we discarded, including traps, to special summon them back onto the field using Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. For the rest of the Xyz monsters, I run 1 Leviair the Sea Dragon, more special summoning, especially with all the different Phantom Knight monsters we banish. It's just a good resource to rely on in this deck, just needing the level 3 monsters to summon it. And for the Link monsters, I run 1 Cherubini, Ebon Angel of the Burning Abyss. This is just a raising setup once again for all of our different plays. Best setup for the Phantom Knights is Rusty Bardish. Last ban list came to 1, which was a big surprise for sure, but definitely wanting to promote the new Phantom Knight support. I can see why. Just great setup, needing dark monsters. You can even use your Burning Abyss to summon it out and then have your setup and destruction against your opponent. Also 1 IP Masquerena. I use this card mostly to go into some of the other plays, including Apollosa and also Borreload Dragon when need be, to have some of the higher Link monsters set up in the deck as well. But as for the go-to plays, like I said, relying on the Burning Abyss, summoning out your Graph or Seer, vice versa, and then special summoning the other one, depending on which one you want to detach. You will then overlay the 2, which they can go in the main monster zone now as well, so remember that. So going first, you'll summon out your Dante in defense position, then you will use the detach of whichever one you did not special summon, because you only have the 1 effect of that monster, to mill the top 3 cards of your deck. Depending on what you mill, you might have a, random assortment. You might get that 1 dead card every so often, but that's just your go-to setup, because then being able to use your Graph to special summon another Burning Abyss from the deck onto the field. Like I said, more and more resources to rely on with those special summons, giving you potential searches to use as well. And then if you have the additional setup now with your other cards, whether it be another Burning Abyss, because you have no spell or trap setup on the field, you can then use these cards additionally for another Xyz summon, not even having to go for your Link, but if you were, you could use cards like Cherubini. Having these plays to rely on for more destruction plays or set up against your opponent will give you more graveyard play reliance as well, depending on the setup, but they both work very, very well together for their rank up plays and overall graveyard setup, as I stated before. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, love doing these updates for the ban lists. We're definitely looking at a lot more down the road for cards, including Gishkis that I still want to look into fixing up. I know ABCs have been requested to just see the deck at almost full power. I know Ancient Fairy Dragon was a big part of the ABC setup, but with ABC Dragon Buster back at 3, maybe we'll see some more plays with that around the list. But until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.